not, then shame on them.
Well,
Shame on them.
I think it's possible, Foz, with the crew he has right now. I mean, they got 60 wins under their belts already. That's
Sure
amazing. They're a much better team than they were when they played in the finals against San Antonio. And I think
I would agree.
LeBron's a better player. I think he's a better player than he was when he played against San Antonio. And he got him to the finals. He got him to the finals with that.
He did. Yeah.
You know?
And I think the only thing stopped them from going to the finals last year was a Celtics team that was ready to go.
And I just love seeing a nice set shooter like Ilgakis. That guy's the man.
Yeah. But I tell you that the championship does not go through the West this year, and I do think that
things changed, Foz. We were talking 6 years ago. Remember that? The East is dead.
The West has gotten old and tired, pal.
Yeah.
Old and tired. Except the Lakers, obviously, but.
I mean, we all knew this. We all knew this year. We all knew the Lakers, what kind of team they were going to be. Everybody knew. I don't think people actually realized how good the Cavaliers were going to be this year.
I didn't. I didn't.
I
thought they'd be a 50-win team.
That's what I thought. And then you see this stuff happen, 60 wins, 13 in a row. I mean,
but I guess that is
every game. The rest. How many games left in the season, Foz?
Well, it depends. I mean, it depends on who the team is, but I mean, there's got to be something along the line of 9 for some teams. I was going to say something
under a dozen, probably.
Yeah. So, but I just think this all shows the leadership shows of LeBron James. I think it shows that he is a leader.
I mean, I know it sounds like
people get behind him.
It sounds like a LeBron love fest, but I just can't help talking about this guy.
He's the greatest player in the NBA right now.
The San Antonio game, and he was on a sidelines. I believe he was listening to a Walkman or something. The guy just doesn't look like he has any pressure on him, Foz. And the guy is completely embraceable, his personality. And the guy, what's there not to love about him? Some people say he's cocky. I don't really see it that way.
I don't see that.
I see the guy as a young kid who's doing what he loves to do, and he's very embracing. I just a huge LeBron fan.
I'm not a big fan of comparisons, but I will compare him. But I guess I'll break my own rule.
Okay.
And compare him to a Tiger Woods, to somebody who is the best in their game, the best at what they do, and carries themselves that way. And I think it's important for him to carry himself that way. And the public image is major, but the biggest thing to him is he does want to go down as the greatest of all time, and he knows that in order to do that, you have to keep out the outside influences, and you have to keep the
God. That has to be tough for somebody like that. Can you imagine
25 like that and have to roll by the balls? And
the guy's maturity level's large.
Oh, I think about what we were like at 25. We would have fallen apart.
The guy's large. There's no doubt about it. Strong
and I respect him.
Strong mentally.
But again, there's a big team that he's going to have to get by, and I'm not calling the Celtics on that. I am saying the Orlando Magic is going to be a big team to get by, and I do think that he is a better basketball player than Dwight Howard. But Howard's coming into his own now. He's really starting. He could be something special.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, you remember when David Robinson came into the league, Foz, in '89?
Yes.
David Robinson had that body. He didn't have quite the lower body that Dwight Howard has, but he has definitely the upper body, kind of big. And Howard's how tall is Howard? Is he 7'1"?
He's 6'11". I don't think he's
6'11". He just looks like he's 7'1". He's just so damn big.
But he has more athletic skills than David Robinson had. He can athletically do things that Robinson couldn't do.
I love David Robinson as a human being, but I just think he was lacking some heart.
But you and I will always fight on that. I think David Robinson is a champion and played with class and heart and played the game the way he should be played.
There's no question he's a fantastic human being. I just think that he could have been more of a Tiger on the court. I've always thought that.
Well, maybe he could have, maybe not. I guess that's one that's up for debate. But I would always say that he is the athlete that he is, and commanded the respect that he commanded because of the gentleman that he was. And Michael Jordan, LeBron James, David Robinson, they all bring their personality to the court, and whatever works for you use. And I will say he won two championships, and yes, he won them with a great player in Duncan. But
that's true.
I will say this: Jordan never won one without Pippen.
That's true, and a lot of
Magic
people say
never won one without Jabbar. Bird never won one without McHale.
So, say if LeBron wins this year, Foz, who would people say if LeBron wins this year? Who would people say that was his partner in crime?
Mo Williams, point guard. It's a
Yeah.
he has really turned into
God, I was hoping you'd say
an all-star, and
the guy's the man.
He's Will Purdue with a jump shot.
Oh, I'm loving that. I'm just loving.
No, that's not true. I don't want to say that because Ilgauskas does have some skill. And
Ilgauskas! The guy's the man, Tony.
I don't know, but I think it would be Mo Williams. Mo Williams is definitely he has helped that team rise to another level, and but they are missing that. They are missing that. That 1-2 punch, and even the great ones had the 1-2.
Yeah.
Even the great ones, man.
Yeah, you're right.
They had the great. And you look at the guys who kind of went solo on their own.
Yeah.
The Charles Barkleys of the world. It was tough for them. He never won one.
Yeah.
There were even guys who were fantastic, like Karl Malone, who had John Stockton, and he never won one either. He never had that other point scorer.
I was combing the stats the other day, just going to NBA stats and just devouring some stats. I had no idea John Stockton was first in the NBA in steals. I had no. I had
steals and assists.
I didn't know that. I thought I knew assists. I mean, probably everybody knows that, but the steal thing.
I believe he broke Mo Cheek's record.
The guy's unbelievable, Fuss. He's in 2 categories all time.
Oh yeah.
What is it? The 5 categories, right?
Yeah,
Scoring,
he was
it's just amazing.
He was definitely he was definitely a top guy at his position in his era and a Hall of Famer. And
was he not a Gonzaga boy? I believe he was.
He was a Gonzaga boy. He kind of put Gonzaga on the map. But I would still, in basketball, I believe this wholeheartedly because it's a 5-on-5 game, and 2 guys can win a championship. You need to win a championship, and to get to that, to get to the best of the best class. And he never won that championship.
Yeah, Matt Jr. and myself were talking about that, and Matt Jr. just looked at me and he said, "Jordan." He said, we were talking about the Utah Jazz, how good they were, and he just looked at me and goes, "Jordan." Like that's the reason. That's the reason they didn't win any rings, because Jordan was there in the way, and he just wouldn't let it happen.
Yeah, you're right. I mean, he was going up against the greatest player of all time. But it's the same thing. Larry Bird went up against Magic Johnson, still found a way to win. Magic went up against Larry Bird, still found a way to win.
Yeah.
John Stockton and Karl Malone went up against Jordan a couple times and couldn't find that way to win.
Jordan was just fantastic.
And so those guys were great, and they were Hall of Famers. But they don't go. I don't put John Stockton in my elite point guards. That would never be. He would never enter the conversation.
Really?
Would he for you?
I think. How could you leave him out? I mean, he's got.
Who would you put him in front of? He wouldn't make my all-time team. I can think of 3 guys that I put in front of him right now.
I think the guy's definitely up there. I mean, the guy, he's got to be.
Yeah, I bet he's great, and he's a Hall of Famer. There's no doubt. He's a great Hall of Famer.
All-time assist leader and steal leader? My Lord.
Yeah, well, you definitely. So all-time steal leader. Mo Cheeks was a steal leader before him. Do you put Mo Cheeks as one of the top of all time? No. And you could definitely be the all-time assist leader when all you do is play give and go with Karl Malone for 17 years.
True.
And so I'm not. They played the most boring brand of basketball. They were more boring than the Spurs. It was the most boring brand of basketball I've ever seen. Jerry Sloan, who definitely knows how to win, is a boring coach.
I agree. He's a boring coach, and he still doesn't have any rings.
And he doesn't have any rings.
And then Boozer's not going to get him. The team that they have now is not. They're not going to get a ring.
No.
What do you think?
No,
what do you think of Morning's Glory, Foz? I had mixed feelings about that. I mean, seeing the guy crying and stuff. I got a.
Oh, Alonzo? You talking about Zoe?
Did he deserve to have his number retired, Foz? I had a I don't want to sound like a jerk or a cynic or anything, but I had a little problem with him getting his number retired.
Well, I guess can I?
Is it because the Heat is such a young franchise? I mean, I
was going to say one word for you: expansion. And that's the word, expansion. It's how many numbers do the Tampa Bay Devil Rays have? Retired. How many numbers do the Charlotte Bobcats or whatever New Orleans Hornets have retired?
Yeah.
You just have to.
You got to get a banner up there. Got
to get something up there. And Alonzo Mourning won a championship. He was definitely a dominant center, and he was another guy who was only 6'10".
Yeah.
6'10", but played like he was 7'2". A lot of heart, a lot of fire, and if he didn't have that kidney problem, who knows what he could have done? But
he
came out with Shaquille O'Neal and Christian Laettner, and there was a class of three great big men who came out at the same time, and of course O'Neal turns into one of the best centers of all time, and Laettner turns into a stiff, and
But they had to get him on the Olympic team. How much did that piss you off?
Yeah, how about that, huh? Good call on that, too.
You remember that?
But Alonzo Mourning turned into an incredibly talented NBA basketball player. And I will tell you this, and I guess I'll leave it at this, and I'm sure Celtics fans will fight me on this. He had a much better NBA career than Bill Walton did.
Yeah.